Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something pretty big, a moment that could genuinely start reshaping how we get around cities. We're looking at June 22nd, 2025. That's when Tesla finally, officially launched its robotaxi service in Austin, Texas. Now, this isn't just, another product drop. The market certainly noticed. Tesla's stock, TSLA, it jumped almost 10% just on that day. That signals some serious investor belief that autonomous driving is, well, the future. But what really makes this launch happening right now so significant?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? It goes way beyond just a stock bump. This Austin launch, it really represents a concrete step, maybe an acceleration of Elon Musk's long-term vision, moving beyond just selling cars towards offering mobility as a service. It's a huge step. It's about transforming how we move, and maybe more importantly for Tesla, how they actually make money from their full self-driving tech. So for this deep dive, our goal, our mission, is really to cut through the noise, the headlines, and give you a quick, clear understanding of what this early access launch really means. What are Tesla's actual goals here? And what are the big challenges still ahead for, widespread driverless cars?
Okay, so let's dig into those objectives then. The sources we looked at suggest that, yeah, there's PR value, obviously. But the main play seems to be taking their full self-driving FSD technology out of, like, a closed beta and really putting it to the test in a live, complex city environment like Austin. It feels like they're properly stress testing it, hoping for a much bigger rollout eventually, maybe global. What kind of specific validation do you think they're really chasing in Austin?
That's a really good question. I mean, sure, collecting data, logging miles, that's always part of it. But what's probably more critical here isn't just quantity of data. Tesla's likely targeting specific edge cases, those weird situations, and unique urban scenarios in Austin, maybe traffic patterns or road layouts. Their simulations or the existing FSD beta haven't quite cracked yet. And beyond the tech, there's the whole user experience validation. They need real-time feedback from these first riders. Not just did the car drive okay, but the whole service, the app, the pickup, the drop-off. How does it all feel? It's fundamentally about showing reliable, repeatable safety in public, even with that safety monitor present, because that's what builds confidence both for the public and, crucially, for investors looking at Tesla potentially shifting from just making cars to being a, highly profitable mobility provider.
Right, okay. And that's where the specifics of this launch the rubber meets the road moment really tell a story about their strategy. This Austin service, it started very controlled, really controlled, open only to a select group, retail investors, some influencers, people who are already kind of bought in. And crucially, these cars operate within a specific geofenced area in Austin, basically a digital boundary line. The robotaxis can't go outside it. Now, they're designed to be fully autonomous, yes, but there's always a Tesla employee in the passenger seat, a safety monitor ready to jump in. That level of supervision, it feels like a very careful balancing act.
It absolutely is. And that initial phase with the human monitor, it's vital for a couple of reasons. One is building that public trust we talked about, seeing it work, even supervised. The other is gathering incredibly detailed data, especially on moments where the system is close to needing help or when it encounters something totally new. The sources also point out the price, a flat fee of $4.20 per trip, which on the face of it seems, well, surprisingly low for such a cutting-edge service, right? But that pricing isn't about making money right now. Not at all. It's clearly designed to encourage people to use it a lot. Maximize usage. Why? To collect more real-world data, more user feedback, as fast as possible. And you saw the market's reaction again, that near 10% stock jump. Analysts are widely saying, look, if this robotaxi thing scales, it could unlock way higher revenues, better profit margins than just selling the cars themselves. It's a fundamental shift in their potential business model. And the market, well, it seems to be pricing in that long-term value of FSD.
That's a really interesting take on the pricing. Definitely not about profit yet. But okay, while there's clearly a lot of optimism, we have to acknowledge the hurdles. They seem pretty significant for getting this rolled out everywhere. From everything we've seen, one of the biggest, maybe the most complex, is regulation. The rules for autonomous vehicles, they're not consistent at all. They vary wildly state to state, country to country, and they're constantly changing. How do you even navigate that kind of fragmented, shifting regulatory landscape, especially if the goal is to eventually remove the safety monitors and operate in lots of cities?
Indeed, that's a huge one. It's not just a technical problem, it's almost a geopolitical one in some ways. And closely tied to that is overcoming public perception, building genuine trust. We all know how just one or two bad incidents can really damage confidence in driverless tech. So Tesla has to show not just that the tech works, but that it has a consistent, transparent safety record. That's essential to win people over. Then there's just the sheer scale involved, going from a limited pilot in Austin to meeting demand in say, dozens of major cities worldwide, that's a colossal investment. You need the fleets of cars, the charging infrastructure, the complex logistics to manage it all. It's massive. And let's be clear, they're not alone in this race. You've got major players like Waymo, owned by Alphabet, and Cruise, backed by GM. These companies aren't just investing billions. Some already have significant real-world operational miles under their belts in certain cities. The competition is fierce. And finally, the technology itself. Getting FSD to handle absolutely everything, every weird, unpredictable, one-in-a-million driving scenario without any human backup. That's still an immense technical mountain to climb. FSD is impressive, but perfection is, well, it's still the ultimate goal.
Okay, so pulling all of this together then, what does this Austin launch really signal for Tesla right now? It feels like a very deliberate step, a fundamental one. It's like years of R&D on FSD are finally moving out of the lab or even out of the hands of beta testers and onto public streets as an actual commercial service. And even though it's just starting and it's supervised, the impact it's having on how people see it, how the market values it, that seems undeniable. It's a clear signal, isn't it, that Tesla is actively pushing forward with its big vision for an autonomous transport network, a vision that could, potentially, redefine the whole auto industry and the urban mobility sector as we know it.
Absolutely. And framing that within the wider picture, it's just so important to keep those complexities front and center. We've touched on the regulatory maze, how it keeps shifting, the absolute necessity of building broad public trust that's non-negotiable, the enormous challenge of actually scaling this kind of service globally, and of course, the intense competition from other very capable players. So considering all those hurdles, the regulations, the trust factor, the sheer scale needed for global expansion, here's something to think about. What parts of your daily life, or maybe even the physical layout of your city, do you think would be most fundamentally changed if these fully autonomous robotaxis actually became the main way we get around urban areas?